Hello and welcome to episode 6 of the Player 3 podcast. I'm your host, Luke Croft. Alongside me, the always visually stunning Larry Hunt.
Episode 6 is my favorite episode of Star Wars.
I thought you meant Star Trek.
That's stupid.
Are those the same things?
Get off the show. You're fired.
Episode 6 is a really good episode of The Office.
Welcome to Player 3 Podcast. I'm your new host.
And across from me, we have Benjamin D. Hankins. And we have just resolved that the D will always stand for Destiny until he gets diabetes. And then it stands for diabetes.
Yeah, because I'm really fat.
How are we doing, fellas?
Good.
Good. I just bought a $60 coat from Marshall's.
Gosh, shop at Marshall's. You get great deals.
It's an Under Armour coat. It's awesome.
We are the Player 3 podcast. We get together every Monday. We talk about video games, try to push this out to you. You can listen to us on iTunes, on Stitcher, on Blueberry, on Podbean. You can listen to us on your phone and on your Walkman.
On a box with a fox.
In a plane, on a train.
All right. And we actually have some big Player 3 podcast news to push down the pipeline here before we get started. A couple things. First of all, we are working on developing our new website that we'll be launching in the next couple weeks, and we'll have some sort of event organized for that. Mm-hmm. This weekend actually starts our extralife.org campaigns. Larry doing his stream. I have the stream the next week, and then Ben is streaming the week after that. Yes.
What day is that week? Because that may change.
That is the 6th.
Okay, never mind. We're good.
I think it's the 6th. I can check. I have the calendar. I have the technology. Larry, the new host, take us away. What are we talking about right now? Do you fill in the time while my calendar...
We're talking about video games, but not just any video games. The ones that we're talking about.
I'm pretty sure it's the 6th. Here we go. I got it pulled up now. It is actually the 7th to the 8th. Ben, did you lie to us again, dude?
We got a youth event. Okay, yeah, we can do that.
Oh, just cancel the youth event.
I'll just be really tired.
We have time. We have time to let them know.
Yeah, we'll get yours figured out. So if we have to change it, we change it. But Larry's will be starting this Friday. Mine will be next Friday, and we'll get you more details in the details of the podcast. So that's another big piece of news, and I feel like there's one other. Oh yes, this is going to be our first 2 podcast week of Player 3 podcast history. Because coming to you on Wednesday will be our horror game podcast where we talk about our favorite horror games. We're recording it today, but they don't get it till Wednesday. So,
Horror games.
Oh man, I contributed to that.
yes, you did. All right. We're going to start this episode off like we start off every episode with the releases of the week.
Releases of the week.
All right, coming to you the week of October 20th. On PS4, we have a bunch of games here. We have Scapegoat 2, which is going to be a platformer. You like that?
What?
All right, we're moving on. We have The Legend of Korra, which is a re-release of the game, correct?
Yeah, it is. It's PlayStation. Yeah.
Okay. We have Shadow Warrior, which is a shooter. Race the Sun, which is a racing game. If you liked a Scapegoat, you're going to love this one. Flustercluck. a third-person, 4-player co-op shooter. No, 4-player split-screen shooter featuring shooting chickens and spaceships. Flustercluck. We're not going to say that anymore on the podcast, lest we mess it completely up.
I'm never going to say that
And we
because
lose our-
I mess words up all the time.
Yeah, because then we'll lose our clean tag on iTunes. The Walking Dead Season 2 is coming to the PlayStation 4. Dreamfall Chapters Book 1, Just Dance 2015, and Samurai Warriors 4. Quattro.
What happened to 1, 2, and 3?
You missed that?
Yeah.
So that was for PS4. For Xbox One, we have Disney Fantasia Music Evolved.
Oh my goodness.
Shadow Warrior, The Walking Dead, and Just Dance 2015 are also releasing on Xbox One. And so you can head to the Xbox One store, the PSN store, or to your local GameStop or other retailers to pick up some of these games, even though some of them are probably only digital. Ben, will you have a 10,000 word write up on Just Dance for us later this week?
Sure.
Without playing the game.
I don't even have a Connect or a PlayStation Eye or whatever you have to.
It's called a PlayStation Camera now.
Oh, okay.
You can buy a PlayStation Eye for $3.50 on the clearance shelf at Walmart.
I don't have a PS3 though. Will that hinder me from using it?
Yes.
Okay.
Extremely.
I'm gonna buy one today.
All right. Well, let's just jump right into news. We have several different items. So
News with the podcast guys.
seriously, I don't know why we give him time to do it. Like we allow him to do
I'm
it.
just gonna do it over you if you don't let me.
That's true as well. All right, we have several items on the list today, starting with Crytek, the developer of the Xbox One exclusive game Ryse, has mentioned that they are open to bringing Ryse to the PlayStation 4 platform, but they are focused right now on getting it to PC. But they said we're open to all kinds of possibilities. What are your thoughts on this?
I think the game looked cool when it released with Xbox, but I mean, I'm kind of in the same boat that you are, Luke. I just don't really see the merit in getting something that's not going to have really a sequel, like stated. They're not really saying they're going to have a sequel for anything. They're not really. I mean, it looks cool, but I don't know if I'm really that interested in getting it.
As our sole Xbox One owner, have you ever even?
I was never interested in it. I didn't even bother buying an Xbox till Titanfall came out.
I heard that the only thing that was really good about it were the graphics. Like the story, the gameplay was all kind of like repetitive and predictable and all that sort of stuff. My biggest issue is Crytek is working on several different IPs right now that I think they need to be pouring into rather than trying to just cash into a group of people in the PlayStation 4 who kind of felt neglected with not getting Ryse. But if you're going to release a game like this a year after, there needs to be some benefit other than I can play this year-old game. And so there's no plans right now for a Ryse 2. There's no plans for a sequel announced. And from everything I was reading speculation-wise, like they don't think Crytek's going to revamp this series because the sales for the first one were really only good because it was part of that limited launch title list. Mm-hmm. And so why release a game other than just to cash in on the few people that would want it, but you're having to pay a development group to port this over to a different system, over to the PlayStation 4. Why waste those funds when there's going to be no reason to pick this up, play it so that you can prep yourself for 2? I would much rather see them, if they decide to continue this series with a Ryse 2, say, we're going to release a Ryse 1 and 2 combo pack when they release 2 in the future. Like, keep that in your back pocket. But as long as there's no sequel planned, I don't see the point in it.
Yeah, I'd be surprised if they make enough money to even make it worthwhile if they go that route.
Really, and if I'm looking for a game to buy just for the graphics of the game, not the gameplay or the story, I'll just watch like Troy or Gladiator or something, you know.
Yeah, those look super realistic. Well, and the point being, like, there are going to be so many awesome new games that are coming out for both of these consoles over the next 6 months. I mean, November is jam-packed, February is jam-packed, and, like, holiday season is just going to be massively full of games. And so would Ryse just release into kind of like an abyss already? Mm-hmm. If it's going to do it, I would say the best time to do that would be like in the summer and kind of like that lull period where there's not a ton of huge releases where people are like, where we're going into GameStop and looking at the shelves and we're like, oh, we played everything but Ryse. Might as well just pick that up. But at that point, I'm buying it used. So I'm not going to buy this game new. I'll wait for somebody else to play it. Speaking of people who are attempting to kind of readjust their financial situation, Microsoft has made some changes to the Xbox. They started selling Kinectless Xboxes several months ago, and the Kinect standalone has just been announced that it will be in stores. Well, it's in stores actually right now, being sold on Amazon and stuff. You can buy the Kinect for $150, and that includes a copy of a digital copy of Dance Central. What do you think about the price point? Because it's $100 extra to just buy your Xbox with the Kinect. It's $150 to buy it without, and then to buy the Kinect in the future.
I don't know. I think it's kind of high, but you're getting a game with it. But the thing of it is, like, I mean, well, there are some people. We had this conversation before. There are people that care about Dance Central. I'm just not one of those people. And if the reason it's $150 is because I get Dance Central, then can you sell me a Kinect that doesn't have Dance Central included with it for a cheaper price? Like the camera is like $60, right? The PlayStation camera or whatever.
Yeah, you can find it online a lot of times for like $45 new at this point. But they're two totally different technologies.
Well, yeah, I know they do different things. I'm just like, I don't know if the price point is at $150 because of Dance Central. I think they should have a Kinect that does not include Dance Central that I can get that's not $150.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah.
But I also wouldn't expect it to be near the PlayStation camera range because it's really probably the only piece of hardware on the Xbox that is vastly superior to hardware on the PlayStation.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I'd agree with that, and I'm a PlayStation owner, so I mean.
And it's, in my opinion, and people disagree with me, but you would agree with me that in order to get the full Xbox One experience, the Kinect is integral to that. Like you don't. I say it all the time. You don't know your need, quote unquote, for a Kinect until you either experience it yourself or watch somebody else use it, because it's super intuitive. Like, and I know some people have problems with it, and those people just need to work on their accent. Probably their real deep Southern accent.
Xbox,
Xbox on. But I think $150 when it's packaged with a game. I don't know how much that game is swaying the price of it. I imagine this thing's going to sell for $150 after they're done packaging it in with a Kinect game. But Dance Central isn't going to move those units. Like nobody's. If you're buying an Xbox and you're interested in like Just Dance or Dance Central, those sorts of games, then you will probably just buy the one that's bundled with it. You know. Like,
yeah.
You're not going to buy these things you're not going to buy an Xbox and then in the future just buy a Kinect so that you can play Dance Central. But I think what's important here for Xbox is just options. And this gives people kind of like an entry route into the whole entire Xbox experience. And I wish we would have seen them price the Kinect a little more competitively, because while we know the functionality of the two cameras, most of the time people going into these sorts of decisions don't really understand it. And they're like, well, I can have the camera for the PlayStation where I have what they don't realize is very limited vocal command options compared to the Xbox. And it's $90 less than the Xbox, $100 less than the Xbox. I wish it would have been priced a little bit more competitively, maybe moved around that $99, $119 range rather than the $150. Mm-hmm. But it's very important right now for Xbox to have these options, because right now $500 seems so much more expensive than $400 without the knowledge that this piece of hardware you're getting kind of makes it this superior experience in some ways. Mm-hmm. And so, but having that entry level so that people can get it and then maybe add on to it later, I don't think is necessarily a bad thing. I'm upset that the Kinect isn't required when purchasing, because I think now developers aren't going to be looking for creative ways to use it, because it's like 50-40% of Xbox owners have the Kinect, so why are we going to develop towards that?
I regret that they did that as well, just because I really love the possibilities that were there if the Kinect was integral and if everyone was planning to use it. Just like simple things like in Titanfall, when you have to eject, you have to tap X over and over. It'd be real cool if I could just be like, Titan, eject, and shoot out of my Titan. But now we're going to have to wait till next generation to start seeing stuff like that, because the Kinect isn't required.
Right. And there's so many other, like, and it was very limited there in the beginning, but like Battlefield had the lean, where if you lean, your Kinect picks up your leaning and your guy will lean around corners for you. And those sorts of just creative, small, subtle ways to get you more immersed. Like Alien Isolation utilizes the Kinect to where if I'm hiding in a locker and I cringe with my face as the alien goes by, or if I make too much noise and the Kinect picks it up, the alien will detect where I am and begin chasing me again. But just creative, subtle, little ways to get you more aware. Because I'm not the kind of guy who's going to get up and play Dance Central. I don't want to be moving that much, but if it can bring me more immersed into the situation. But companies aren't going to look at that when they're looking at their their demographic sheet, and they're like, 40% of Xbox owners own a Kinect. Why are we going to waste our development costs on figuring out creative ways to use that? Yeah. And the more time goes on, the smaller and smaller the percentage of Kinect users are going to be, especially if we stay at $150 for the Kinect hardware. Mm-hmm. $119.99. That's a little more acceptable and realistic for people, I believe.
Yeah.
Speaking of bundles, Major Nelson announced last week 2 new Xbox bundles featuring Assassin's Creed Unity, and this kind of blows me away. They are offering one bundle. It is the Xbox One Kinect Edition with Assassin's Creed Unity, Assassin's Creed Black Flag, and Dance Central Spotlight. And the price for that is $499. So no more than what the Xbox with the Kinect costs now. And then you can buy the Kinectless option, which comes with AC Unity and Black Flag, obviously not Dance Central because it requires the Kinect, for $399. So essentially, you're buying the Xbox One with 3 free games, one of them being one of the most anticipated titles of the holiday season. I think this is an excellent move for Xbox. What do you guys think?
Definitely. I mean, you're going to have a lot of people who are looking to buy that game already anyway. And so bundling it with the Xbox, of course, that's going to drive sales.
I love it just because I don't have an Xbox One yet. And that's like it's a big set. Like my wife likes Dance Central, so like those kind of games. So I could be like, hey, if we get this Xbox now, I can get 2 of these games I like, and you can have Dance Central. And I think that's a cool little... it's a stepping stool for me, at least.
I think that's the most interesting thing about the bundle is the 2 games are in no way, shape, or form related. Like Assassin's Creed is nothing like Dance Central, and they relate to sort of those gender lines for the most part. Like Assassin's Creed, the majority of people, and maybe not, but a large portion of that demographic is going to be male, whereas the large portion of the Dance Central demographic are going to be female. And that's just the nature of the situation. And so I think it's so smart to package those 2 together so that couples can sit down and say, hey, let's go in on this together. You're going to get something you like. I'm going to get something I like. And just the fact that, like you said, there's going to be people running out to get Assassin's Creed. And Assassin's Creed has always had a pretty good partnership with Microsoft. The Xbox 360 editions would have exclusive content that would come for them. And so hardcore Assassin's Creed fans who may be PlayStation 4 owners may see, and I don't know if there's any kind of exclusive content for the Xbox One. I would imagine there is because they've entered such a big partnership deal with them. But that's going to move units as well. I'm curious. Well, go ahead because this point may derail.
And what was the price difference again between the Kinect and the Kinectless?
It's $100. $399 for the Kinectless and $499 for the Kinect.
Okay.
And so, going back to the previous discussion, you can see that they're sort of punishing the consumer for being indecisive about the Kinect by charging them $150. But let me ask you this question, Larry, since you kind of have your finger on the pulse of the Xbox.
He's holding his finger to his breast right now.
If we were doing a video podcast, you'd see that. Which, another announcement, here soon we hope to start some sort of video podcasting as well, in case you want to see our glorious, beautiful faces while we do this. And Larry swaying back and forth in his chair.
Because I can't sit still.
That's right. But I feel like since E3 and maybe a little bit before E3, Xbox and Microsoft have been gaining this momentum, and they've been coming out with bundles. You've had the FIFA bundle, the Madden bundle, the Sunset Overdrive bundle, the Call of Duty bundle, the Assassin's Creed bundle, and am I missing any? I think that's...
Did you hit the Titanfall bundle?
Well, there was a Titanfall bundle before, yeah. That's and so I guess it all kind of started with the Titanfall bundle, but it really all started when Phil Spencer took control. And do you think the storyline, the narrative for Xbox would have been different had he been at the helm the entire time, rather than over the last, 9 to 12 months?
I'm really not sure. I'm not the best at speculating about things like that. But I definitely think Xbox their leadership could have handled things better going into this. Maybe not being so wishy-washy on things. Maybe standing their ground on a few of the things they went back on when they received some criticism. Because like we said a few weeks ago, they're pulling us in the direction they planned to pull us in the first place. They're just doing it in a more subtle way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a progressive change of building on. And I don't know how much of it is Phil Spencer's doing in this kind of changing of the tide. I think he has if you follow him on Twitter, if you watch anything that he does, he seems very personable. He seems like a dude, like he's going to sit down, he's going to grab a controller with you, and you can sit and chat and play games at the same time. Whereas I never really got that sense from Microsoft to begin with, and I never get that sense from anybody at Sony. Like, you follow Shuhei Yoshida on Twitter, and he plays games and stuff, but when he's presenting, I don't see him as a gamer. Like, he just doesn't come across as a guy that I can relate to. Phil Spencer I can relate to. Right. I think more of this is about seeing... We underestimated the value of games for gamers, which is a funny thing to say. And while I appreciate so much the entertainment stuff in my on my Xbox One, the shift at E3 to say we're going to have this hour-and-a-half show that's packed with 90 minutes of games, just punching you in the face with it, and it's like the willingness to listen to their consumer both kind of. Work to their disadvantage with the DRM stuff, that kind of change, but it's worked to their advantage in the sense of we need to focus more and more on gaming and in delivering the best content for games that we can, while continuing to add this back support of it, because all that stuff passes by word of mouth, like all the awesome media stuff that you can do with your Xbox. People are going to talk about that because it's convenient, but having the advertising be about games is such a big deal. But I think this Assassin's Creed Unity thing is brilliant. Mm-hmm. I think this can really, launching into this time of year where people are looking for their best value for their dollar when buying gifts for people, and you see, I'm getting 3 free games. And again, you have to consider, like, the people purchasing these things over the next 2 months are not the most educated people about these things. They're parents. And they're seeing this thing comes with 3 games, and my PlayStation back here, at best right now, you're going to get 0 or 1, let's go with the 3. Mm-hmm. Any other thoughts on that? Good.
I think it's a great move for them.
All right. Speaking of great moves, NBA Live 15 has not made them, and it was announced last week, that NBA Live 15 will be getting no pre-release demo. Instead, the demo will launch alongside the retail version of the game on the 28th. I'll start with you, Ben. Let's start.
I don't really understand that. I guess I don't get why they wouldn't put a pre-release demo out, because their whole thing is, like, I've seen screenshots that you've shown me and things that I've seen on the internet about how much better this game is supposed to be than last year's game. And if you're trying to target people to purchase this game that you've put all this time into making better, why would you not release a demo that shows them how much better your game is than it was to boost sales? I feel like they're trying to hide something with not doing a pre-release demo. And that may be a bad assumption, but I feel like that's just like, why else would you not release something before the actual sale date of the full title?
And I think it's dumb just in the sense of there are going to be people. Well, first, another thing is they're not sending out. I don't think they're sending out review copies before either, which is always kind of like a very damaging thing to say about a game, is that when the general public gets their hands on it, or when reviewers are going to be able to get their hands on it. But the fact of the matter is this: people through EA Access are going to be able to play this game without spending a dime on NBA Live. They paid EA $30 or $5 a month, mm-hmm. Whatever, for the access to it. But there is a large group of people who are going to be able to play this game without investing a dime into NBA Live. And if you have nothing to show that's good before, you're not going to trick people into buying this, because they're going to be able to go watch streams. I'm streaming all 6 hours of my NBA Live because it infuriates me that there's this company who just thinks we're EA Sports, we can do what we want, and people are going to purchase our game. And I want people to be able to see what they're buying before, because while they've released a ton of screenshots, and don't get me wrong, the screenshots, in my opinion, look excellent.
Oh, yeah.
But they have not released a single gameplay video for this thing. Mm-hmm. All of them have been either pre-rendered or in-engine highlight videos that are in angles you never play from and in slow motion that you don't see. And part of the... Yes, NBA Live 14 was graphically like meh, but the movement was just as bad. Like there was no fluidity in it, and it was clunky. Shooting mechanics were off, and until you can see gameplay of that, you can't see the improvements. Yeah, still shots of it can look 1,000 times better, but if the movement still as robotic as it was last year, this isn't a title worth even talking about.
Exactly.
And so, I think this thing is dead in the water. Like. And they constantly make missteps with this game, and I have no idea why. Like, people always get so upset about the way that Madden is, but Madden moves units because they know how to market themselves. They know how to make the right decisions out of how to get people excited. And Madden has built a fan base of people who say, we trust you to make games that are at least acceptable to us. Mm-hmm. And NBA 2K has created a group of fans who say, we trust you to make games that are good, really good. Mm-hmm. NBA Live has none of those coins in their pocket. Like, this isn't about just trust us and see. Mm-hmm. This is about see and taste and experience and then invest. And without a demo, you can't do that.
And for their first title back to be last year's title, and for the flop that it was...
that last cold sip of coffee is always the worst.
Their first trip back to the market to be 14 and the big flop that game was last year, and just all the hype that it made at E3 and all the hype that they gave that game, and then for it to be just a washout, and then to not have anything to show the difference in the game this year, it just... I'm in the same boat with you. It just kind of infuriates me to think that how can you expect someone to be bought into the hype of your game without you showing them the game?
Yeah, without giving a portion of it for them to buy into.
Yeah.
Because and the fact that they're releasing 3 weeks after 2K came out was just like...
Exactly.
If you're not releasing right alongside this thing, people aren't waiting 3 weeks to buy NBA Live. They're going to go spend their money on 2K unless they just have some weird sort of agenda against them, like some sort of vendetta. Like, it makes absolutely no sense to me to do it. And I'm going to be honest with you, man. I'm surprised this game's even releasing. When it got announced that they were going to be delayed 3 weeks, I was like... This game's not going to come. Like, this game's not going to come out.
Yeah.
And so I'm starting to worry if they're just like, well, we put all this development costs and all this stuff into it. We're going to lose money anyway. Let's just release it, and maybe a few suckers will buy it, and we'll move 10,000 units, something small, and recoup a little bit of the cost.
I feel like, in my opinion, I don't know. Even regardless of how good or bad this game is this year, 15, the Live franchise for me has lost really much of any credibility as far as a basketball sim game is concerned. Like, I'm not going to take a chance when I know 2K is good. I'm not going to take a chance on Live because of all the shenanigans that's going on with last year's game and now this with no anything at the beginning. And I'd be really surprised if they come out with a Live 16. Even if this is this would have to be like a tremendous success. I feel like, in my opinion,
I do feel like this was kind of last chance, and it breaks my heart because NBA Live 06, NBA Live 08, I love those games. I would have bought them over their 2K counterparts any day of the week because they were just fun. And 2K's had. I wrote it in my review of it that you can find on our blog, but where 2K had this opportunity to just kind of sit back and coast, they continually press the issue. And because of that, they have like a 12 horse length lead in this race.
Oh, yeah.
And unless that horse gets shot,
Gets turned into glue.
yeah. NBA Live isn't coming back.
Yeah.
Even if they release games, they'll never be NBA Live as long as 2K continues to do what they're doing. And I feel like if they even start to gain a lead, 2K has the resources and the ability to step their game up even more so in those situations. With talking about stepping their game up, PS4 is releasing firmware update 2.0 soon. Ish. It's always soon. Is soon any closer today than it was last week?
I guess soon's relative, I guess. So.
Yeah, it's releasing soon. It'll be here before PS5.
Soon to me is kind of like tomorrow. So does that mean it'll be tomorrow?
Can we sue for false advertising if we have a different definition of soon? But alongside that, and I'm sitting all uncomfortably waiting for Larry to come back over here, and he looks very busy with coffee.
Just making coffee in the middle of the podcast.
Are we done with sports? Yeah, we're done with sports, but we're moving on to PlayStation. Yet another thing you don't care.
Oh, let me go make more coffee.
That's an awesome apple mug.
Where did you get that?
I dug into the deepest recesses of your cabinet.
Oh, see, this is my house. I didn't even know I owned that cup. So it's probably my wife's cup. It looks very feminine. So anyway, PS4 has announced several features for the firmware 2.0 update. This isn't all stuff that has just been announced in the last week or so. This is stuff that just overall has been announced. It's a long list. So hold on to your hats, boys and girls. SharePlay will be coming. This is the opportunity where you can play co-op games by remotely connecting to somebody's console for a 1 hour limit, although you can immediately reconnect after that 1 hour is up, which makes absolutely no sense to me. I guess the reason that they're doing that is so... I actually have no idea why they're doing that.
They probably just want to inconvenience you so that you'll buy the actual game.
I think it's a mixture between that and... Well, there's really nothing server-side for them that has... I guess there is some server-side stuff that would have to handle it for them. And I guess what it is, it's like with Destiny. If I'm standing in Destiny and I don't do anything for 10 minutes, I get kicked off. So I'm not taking up server space. So maybe that's a part of it, too, so that we don't get in the game together, pause it, and go get Taco Bell and then come back and get it.
Is there a situation where like the hour would cut into something? I'm trying to think of games that I play and like what I don't think a game of 2K would go over an hour. They're usually...
It depends.
If you're playing like 12-minute quarters, they're usually only like... I don't know.
Well, they have to at least be 48 minutes.
Yeah, but I think they go...
They'd be right at an hour.
Yeah.
But I think if you get disconnected... there's no reason to speculate on it, but I would imagine it would just pause, and then you'd get thrown back in. You'd be able to come right back in.
I don't know. I'm thinking about like because the main application that I want to use it for is
Minecraft.
Yeah, and I'm thinking if we're mining something and you got a bunch of awesome stuff in your inventory, when you get booted out after that hour, are you going to hang on to that stuff, or is it going to just disappear from the world?
So I guess it would have to be a world that you generate, so that
it'd have to be a world that I generate.
Okay, well, we won't spend near as much time on everything else here on this list. Also coming is YouTube support, which, hallelujah.
Yeah,
hopefully,
I'm very excited about that.
I'm hoping that also means a YouTube app of some nature.
I would think so.
I can only hope. And
what do you think, Larry?
I enjoy the YouTube app that I currently experience on my Xbox.
On my Xbox. Okay, themes. Some customization. They will be bringing themes. A players you may know tile. Players you may know tile that you can go to add players that you may know.
I kind of hate those features on social networks, so I imagine it'll be equally useless on a PlayStation.
And here's the problem that I have, and Ben, you're going to be able to relate to this, and Larry, you'll be able to relate to this as well. Us working in a people-oriented industry as we do, people that we know are also the people that we work with and for who may be able to find us and then add us and then eke into my time that is not really work-related to come into my gaming world. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. You know those people.
Yes.
Yeah.
We know.
Okay. Moving on. You will also be able now to listen to your own music because they're going to be adding an MP3 music player to the PlayStation 4. So as we're hooping it up on 2K, we can
listen to some Lecrae.
Some Lecrae.
That too is an enjoyable feature.
Early experience on my Xbox One.
We got it. Notice he didn't say anything about the themes.
Yeah.
I didn't.
Nope. All right. You can also change the color of your background, not your tiles. The background. So this is totally different. I think it's like an option between 7 or 8 colors. Just another little thing to be able to customize. This is a cool one, and it's just little, but they're going to add an Add to Library button. So let's say I'm a PlayStation Plus member. They're releasing 2, maybe 3 free games every month. Rather than downloading those things onto my hard drive in order to have them, I can just simply add them to my PlayStation 4 library, lock in the free price for the life of my PS Plus membership, and then go back and download them whenever I have room or want to play them. I think that's a really cool feature.
I like that a lot.
I already mentioned the USB music player. They're going to be adding some updates to the Live on PlayStation. I really wish they'd just come out with a dedicated Twitch app for this thing. Because I don't use Uplay at all. Is that the other one?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't use that at all. Just come out with a dedicated Twitch app. But alongside that, there are some cool things within that. They'll be able to. They'll have a featured page, and that's going to feature official PlayStation streams. So, like their E3 presentation or the. I think it's called PlayStation Encounter, PlayStation Experience. The new, it's their new PlayStation video game show that they're going to be doing. But also on this featured page, if one of your friends is streaming, they'll show up on the featured page. And also any channels that you may follow on either Twitch or Ustream. It's not Uplay. Uplay is that place where you go and play in the ball pits and have arcade.
We used to have one in
pizza.
Danville, so great.
Yeah, it was awesome. You also are going to have a chance to organize your games and your apps. As I did some reading on this, because when I first read it, I thought everybody's been wanting folders to put their stuff in, but that's not the case at all. What's going to show up on your homepage are your 15 most used games and applications, and then everything else is going to be in a library folder that you just go to. It has everything. But you also have an opportunity to customize which 15 tiles show up.
Oh, okay.
And I don't know. Maybe I'm not the typical gamer, but I'm not doing 15 different things on my PlayStation at any one block of time. You know, Netflix, NBA League Pass, the couple games I'm playing. That's really all I need. If they have a YouTube app.
By the end of this console generation, I may fill that up.
The 15.
Yes.
But the thing is like you're not playing.
Oh yeah.
That many games at one time, or using that many applications. And by one time, I don't mean like all simultaneously, but over the course of a few months, I'm not playing and using all that much different stuff. Who knows? By the time that we get these people sending us free games,
if you guys are out there, send it to us.
Yes, just send it to us. We'll send you
play
an
My Little Pony and stuff.
Just email us at player3podcast@gmail.com or tweet at us at player3podcast. Okay, and ask for Luke.
Luke wrote a heartfelt 85,000 words.
It's not 85,000, it's 8,500.
8,500,000 words.
85 million word review on 2K. So he's very thorough.
I do try to be thorough. My Shadow of Mordor review was far less lengthy. But I'm so excited about our website. It looks so good. Did you get a chance to look at it yet, Larry?
I have not. I'm sorry.
Pretty.
I will show you after the podcast, and it'll be glorious and beautiful. You going to pull it up, actually, and show it to him? All right, he will react in real time to how glorious and beautiful this is by vomiting into his coffee cup. Is it gorgeous? Oh, so glorious.
Here's the homepage. Here's our news page. Here's some reviews.
Look at the reviews page.
Look how sick that looks. That looks awesome.
You like it?
Whoa, you made that?
Yes, I made that.
You paid somebody.
I did not pay anybody. I don't have money to pay people. And if I did, I'd bill you guys for it.
Our site was created for free at Wix.com.
Yes, it was. So, but it won't be free after we get done with it. No, that's unfortunate. I think that's everything that's been announced so far. But the best part about this is there is more to come. And that's a long list of stuff. And some of that stuff, it's little but there's one thing that's really glowing that's missing from this thing, and it's not the resume stuff that we talked about last week, but it is the lack of friend notifications, and it's the dumbest thing about PS4. I don't understand why I get a notification when some random friend of mine joins another party, not my party, just a party, but yet they can't tell me when Who Bombed Trady signs on. Like, I'm having to constantly look. And I understand that they up the friends list to 2,000, but why don't you just give me a list of favorites? Like, first of all, I don't have 2,000 friends, but I know some people do. But I can just assign favorites and I get notifications for them when they come online. Like, how hard is that? Mm-hmm. But maybe, who knows? There's more to be announced, but I feel like that's a big one that they would have announced at the beginning. Go ahead.
I don't know if this pertains to the subject or not.
That's fine.
It's okay.
We're a conversation.
Kind of fluid. Speaking of friends list, people, we would have liked to attempt doing the raid soon, but we don't have enough for a full raid party. So if you are a decent Destiny player on PlayStation 4 and you are above a 26, right?
Yeah, we can't really put that stipulation on it because I'm not over 26, but I hope to be.
Yeah,
we've been talking about this for a month, and I think we started this podcast and I was a 23, and I think I'm a 25 now. So
if you're on or around a 26 or 25, or just if you're a viable player option for the raid, then just message us at either WhoBombTradey on the PSN network or Larger, not larger, and then we can possibly get you guys together and you can play with your podcast.
Gosh, that would be awesome.
Guys. Yeah, so
we're going to be streaming some Destiny tonight, by the way, if you're really quick on the trigger and listening to this on Podbean. Where are we at, boys? Oh, we just finished the PS4 announcement. All right, so those are all the things that PlayStation's doing well. Let's talk about the things that PlayStation's sucking at, mostly Driveclub.
Yeah.
Driveclub, still broken, server issues, running rampant, and no word at all on the PlayStation Plus edition. They've been releasing updates about what's going on their Facebook page, the Driveclub Facebook page, but never once have they mentioned the PS Plus edition. And people are starting to get a little upset about this, and rightfully so. And all the updates are the same. We're working around the clock to get this thing fixed. We're adding more and more server capabilities, and we're adding stability so that people aren't going to have the issue. We want to get the paid customers up to speed before we start working on... well, they haven't even mentioned the PlayStation Plus, but we want to get the people who paid for this game up to speed of where they need to be before they move their endeavors elsewhere. And here's my biggest problem with that, and then I'll let you react, Ben, because I know you were looking forward to this game at the time. Mm-hmm. The fact, I understand completely that you have a group of people who had access to this game 14 hours before another group would have had access, that being the PlayStation Plus. And that those people who had access to it and paid $60 to have access to it are not getting the experience that they paid for. And you know that if we throw this other group in, they're not going to get the experience that they're expecting either, and we're going to worsen the experience of the people that paid for it. So I understand all that. But my biggest issue within this is this assumption that we are getting this game for free, because we aren't. Mm-hmm. The game comes with a subscription to PlayStation Plus, and a lot of people, I'll be honest, I understand. Most people pay for PlayStation Plus because they want to play multiplayer stuff. Mm-hmm. But when they said sign up for PlayStation Plus, and at launch you will have the full Driveclub game available, some people, maybe not an overwhelming majority, maybe not a ton of people, but a section of people went out and bought PlayStation Plus because they were like, man, I'm going to get access to this awesome game, Driveclub. And it is not free. We paid $30 to have access. Not 30. We paid $50 to have year-round access to PlayStation Plus. And it is a perk of PlayStation Plus, but it was a promised perk of PlayStation Plus. Mm-hmm. And right now it's just delayed, but it's starting to feel canceled until they get all this straight. There's some wonky stuff going on with this Driveclub stuff. And it's another one of those Destiny situations where the story behind the making and development of the game, I think, is probably far more interesting than the game itself.
Yeah.
Any thoughts?
I mean, I said it last week. I'm just kind of done with this game. Like, you had me all excited for this launch title, which, I mean, I was all excited for, like, Watch Dogs 2, and then they got pushed back, and I was all excited for a lot of PlayStation things, but then they kind of just cloak and daggered me. It was just really sad. But
while you lament, can you kind of speak up a little?
Yeah, sorry. But I don't know. I'm just Driveclub's just. I mean, they're pulling this whole, like, we're gonna give you this awesome game experience. Like, get all hyped for Driveclub. We're gonna give you this awesome game experience for free. Oh no, wait,
not for free.
For a PlayStation Plus membership.
There we go.
And, okay, but wait. We're not going to give it to you when we told you we were going to give it to you. We're going to pull it back a little bit. Oh, no, but wait. When we give it to you, you're only going to get 2 cars and 10 tracks.
But there was a step even before that where they said, we're going to give you the majority of the game, and then you can pay a little upgrade fee to get everything else. And then they went to the 2 cars,
10 tracks. And now it's like, oh, wait, you free customers, we're going to wait on you and give you, since we sold a $60 brick to these people for I mean, it's not a brick, it still plays, but it's
a brick.
It still plays though. I mean,
there's an offline mode you can play in, but that's not even
the
remotely
essence of the game.
Yeah, that's not even remotely close to the full experience of the game.
So there's this animosity that I have towards the Driveclub devs now, where I'm like, I don't really believe anything you're going to tell me. I don't want to put any stock in any game you're going to make, and any future title that you make in like down the road. I'm probably going to be extremely skeptical about anything involving that game. So there's no bright side to that situation for me, and I don't really see where they can come out for the good or apologetic or however well they try to spin this situation. It's not gonna be anything good. It's gonna be a crap fest, just like it has been.
Yeah, and they're kind of it's one of those situations where it's just lose-lose at this point. The longer they go without giving a timeline for the PlayStation Plus, the more and more angry PlayStation Plus users are going to get. If they come out and give a timeline and they don't deliver again, it's yet another delay on their part. So right now, these people are probably scrambling. They're floundering, and rightly so. They released a game that didn't work, and shame on them. Mm-hmm. But right now, people are only going to download this thing just for the novelty of the fact of, like, got to download it because I'm a PlayStation Plus member, and it's an opportunity for me to at least receive a portion of what I was promised. But people would be dumb to go out and buy this game for $60, even if they get it working.
And I know that the company making Driveclub doesn't represent PlayStation in particular, but if PlayStation wants to maintain their lead in the console wars, they're really going to need to crack down on all these broken promises. That's been a mark of everything from the get-go with them, I feel like. You guys still don't have a lot of the stuff that was promised to you at E3. And even the stuff that they're giving you in this update, it's coming soon. You're going to get it, we promise. Mm-hmm. Sometime. And they need to step it up.
I'm just so tired of waiting, is the thing. Like, I don't feel like I should have paid $400 to wait. I don't feel like I should have had the promise of, like, I was actually considering buying Driveclub when I wasn't so butthurt about having the just two cars and 10 tracks. Like, it wasn't a big deal. I was thinking, well, my wife really likes to play racing games. I may just buy the full copy. There's no way I'm doing that now. No way.
But Ben, greatness awaits.
It does. It
was right there all along.
It's in the slogan. You just take the A away.
Greatness waits. Well, and I think another big thing is the racing genre is just saturated at the moment. Mm-hmm. It's going to be saturated. You had Forza 5 is and Need for Speed came out last year, and those are your two titles. And they're solid titles. Forza being a more solid title probably than Need for Speed. But then, and this leads us into our next topic as well, and so we can kind of mesh the topics if we want. But Project Cars has now been delayed to 2015, which is the hardcore racing sim game. And that's another thing with Driveclub, if I can just go back to that for just 1 second. They did such a poor job of marketing what this game was. Is this a sim racer? Is this an arcade racer? Is this somewhere in between? And like I listened to Podcast Beyond, IGN's PlayStation podcast, and they got raked over the coals for calling this thing a sim racer by the fans of Driveclub because it's not what it is. So the next podcast they had, they turned around and started talking about it like it's an arcade. They got raked over the coals for that. They're like, it is a simulation arcade racer, and it's like simulation arcade racing social experience. And it's like, if I can't give you an elevator pitch of what my game is, then I'm going to fail in marketing. And what's the most important thing for a brand new IP? Marketing.
Exactly.
And what's the most important thing in marketing? People being able to retell what your game is about. And when you can't do that, you're dead in the water. Mm-hmm. And Driveclub lost all of its positioning as this release title, as this PlayStation Plus offering, and now people can't even tell you what the game is. And on top of that, people can't even play your game to figure out what it is. But anyway, so Project Cars, the sim-style race game, which is what it is, it's a very simulation-style race game, has been delayed till March 2015 in an attempt to get out of the death pool that is November. Because they were set to release in November, but I think this is a brilliant move. Because right now, you have Forza Horizon, you have Driveclub in the broken mess that it is, but it's still sold units. And then you have The Crew that is set to release this year as well. And so I don't think there's room enough in 3 months of calendar space for 4 racing titles. Mm-hmm. And then also alongside that, you have Assassin's Creed, Halo, COD, all of the Far Cry 4, all of these big titles releasing this holiday season as well. And I think Project Cars looked at the situation they were in and said, we're doomed if we try to get out here. Right. We're a new IP, we're trying to build a fan base with the release of this game, and I think they have some momentum. But the problem is they released into yet another saturated window. There's no racing games really in the February-March window, but you have games like Battlefield, Evolve, The Order, and you have all of these games coming in February that people are going to be excited about as well. And so what do you guys think about Project Cars delaying?
It probably is a smart move on their part to not jump into the middle of all this, but and it's like you said before that it's good for them to delay rather than release a game that's not ready. But it's always going to be a little disappointing to the people you're trying to sell to when the game gets pushed back. Well,
the difference in this is I'm not positive how much this delay has to do anything with the game being ready, as much as it has to do with what is a window where we're going to be able to maximize on our sales. Mm-hmm. Which I think is just as smart, especially if you're going to be a game who relies really heavily on having a multiplayer base that is filling up your servers. Mm-hmm. Because release in November, and there's all these people playing Forza and The Crew and whatever shell of Driveclub's existing in that moment, and it's like your racing fan base is kind of spread thin. And racing is built on the racing genre, much like any kind of sports genre, is based on what is the most up-to-date version I can get. Mm-hmm. Whereas your hardcore football fans, they want the latest football game so that all the rosters are updated, all the players are on the right teams and all those sorts of things. Same thing with cars. You want the latest and greatest cars, the latest and greatest technology in your game. And so releasing a little bit afterwards to be able to appeal to an audience who might say, okay, we've had enough of Forza Horizon, we've had enough of The Crew, let's go trade that in, pick up Project Cars. But anyway, I don't know how much it has to do with readiness as much as it has to do with sales.
Yeah.
You still feel okay about that? Because Project Cars will change if you don't.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess without a good reason to push it back, it probably will rub people more the wrong way. But it is what it is.
What I think people need to realize is that a company's sales numbers do affect you. Mm-hmm. Especially if it's an experience that you enjoy. If Project Cars releases this great game in November to sales numbers that aren't that stellar, that affects you as a gamer. How much time, energy, and effort are they going to put into updating this? How much time, effort, and energy and development costs are they going to put into releasing another one in the series? Whereas if they say, hey, we're going to wait 5 months, release this in March, then the sales go up and they maybe get 50% extra sales, 100%, they double their sales maybe even. That affects you as a gamer. That's a good thing for you as a gamer.
The thing is, though, it still matters to me that people keep their word. And if you got a good reason to break it, that's fine. But what this tells me is that they didn't do any kind of research into what was releasing at the same time as their game. And right at the last minute, they're like, oh, crap, we messed up. Let's push the game back. That doesn't make me very confident.
And I don't know the timeline of it. And really, looking at this, Forza, I guess, is the only one that has a name that you'd be able to recognize. And so, who knows when these things... Like, Driveclub wasn't supposed to be in this window at all, ever, you know? And Forza was, I guess, but it's an Xbox One exclusive. So you say, okay, we have the PlayStation market to come to. And I don't know who announced first, whether it was them or the crew. And so I don't have a problem with it if they announce and then the crew announced and then they start to see, like, the crew's kind of taking some of what we could have and then delaying it. But Ben's been over here just kind of taking it all in. What do you think, buddy?
It's all good. I mean, what my first impression was, why are they waiting so long? Like, why is March the day that they're thinking? But you brought up an interesting point about the games that are releasing in like the February launch period, and I just think that. I think if you're going to push it back, there's one of two reasons. We've already covered the reasons. There is either a development problem, or they're wanting to target more of a larger audience with their sales in a later time. And I'm kind of with Larry. Like if it's a development problem, I'm not. Well, I don't know if I'm with you or not. Actually, I'm kind of flip flopping with where I am in my brain with what I think about this. But
it's totally cool. This is a conversational podcast, even if it's an in your own brain conversation.
I guess if I think it's a development problem, I'm back to that point of. I guess you can't really understand if you can't know that you have enough time to finish what you set out to do if you're not quite sure how long it's going to take you to do it. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. So, if you set a timeline for November, we're going to launch in November, and then you realize, man, we way underestimated the time we needed to get this done. We may need to push it back. I'm okay with that if they're going to release a completed title, but if they're with the whole I want to get sales in side of the argument, I understand that, but for your people that are already bought into this game, having to wait another length of time, it's just a whole Watch Dogs thing again. I was bought into that game, and that was a development issue. They had problems with getting it to run properly, but I was ready. That was going to be the game that I got with my release title, and that was the release title that I was the most excited about. And I love 2K, but that's what I wanted, and I had to wait so long to get that, and then when I got it, it was just kind of I was so hyped up for it that when I got it, it was a great game, but I was just kind of and I wonder if that's going to be the same thing that this ends up being. Is people are, and I don't know much about this game because I haven't been that pumped about it, but the people who are maybe extremely excited about Project Cars, are they going to be let down even if this game turns out to be excellent in March? Are they going to be let down by the experience? Having been so excited for it in November and having it hyped up in their brain to receive it only to have their expectations fall short of what they thought it would be. And
I think with the holiday season as well, you have to recognize that with the games that release in November, there's really two sales windows. You have the release date of the title, but then you have the time that comes after Christmas when people are receiving gift cards and those sorts of things. Mm-hmm. Because I always say, all right, these are the games I'm going to get at launch, and these are going to be my Christmas gift card games, and I forgot the point I was making. Oh, and so you're not really moving yourself 5 months away from these releases. You're really only moving yourself 3 months away from these releases to some of these sales. And is 3 months a long enough time to say, all right, we're going to be able to turn over these fans from the crew, from Forza? Well, Forza's been out much longer, but are we going to be able to turn over those fans from what they're playing to what we're selling? The difference in it is that racing fans find themselves in niches. You have people who are really arcade racing style fans, and then sim racing style fans. And this game is much more sim, whereas the crew is more arcade like. Mm-hmm. It's not as sim like. There's not tuning up and buying parts and fidgeting with downforce and all that stuff. I'm saying words that I know exist, but don't know what they mean.
Flux capacity,
the cold air intake, the hovercrafts,
the gravel exhaust tire port. That one was bad.
The mud flaps.
mud flaps. That's it.
I am looking for the game that has the most up-to-date mud flaps. That is my niche market.
Here's this is maybe deviates from the point a little bit, but it's okay. I'm going to do it anyways. The racing game that I'm really looking forward to is like Need for Speed Underground again, where I could just change everything on my car. Like I don't even care how realistic the driving is. I just want to be able to customize my car completely.
That's what everyone says about Need for Speed, and I'm wondering when they're going to realize, oh man, we'd sell a lot of copies of a game if we just listened to the people who want our.
Hey, Need for Speed. Hey, Need for Speed. Listen up. We want a customizable game again. We don't care about cops and robbers. We don't care about Carbon, whatever that game was. We just want
that game. You could do that in that.
Could
game.
You do that? I never played that game.
I built the General Lee and jumped over cop cars in slow motion. It's like the highlight of my gaming career.
Is that one or Underground the one where you could download other people's and there were all kinds of like just crazy because it was like layered with shapes and stuff, but people knew how to use it in an artistic way.
I don't know.
Maybe it wasn't that at all. Maybe. Oh no, I think that was I think that was Gran Turismo. I think Gran Turismo you could download other people's.
That's like my Midnight Club was like my favorite, or Underground was like my favorite racing game.
If I had $1 for every time we talked about racing games and Ben didn't bring up Need for Speed Underground, I'd be poor. Because it's every time. Yeah. We cannot talk racing. We could be talking Mario Kart, and he'd be like, you know what game I really love? Need for Speed Underground. Speaking of games that we love, because we need to move on, Halo Master Chief Collection has gone gold.
Dum dum dum.
I had to explain like 4 days ago what going gold meant to Ben.
I thought it meant you get it for free, and I was like, "Are you kidding me?"
That's not a game for gold. Gosh, they've really given up on the sales of this game. They're probably not going to sell any copies of Master Chief. They probably aren't going to sell any copies day of. They probably sold every single copy.
Are we surprised? Who didn't see Master Chief Collection going gold?
Huh?
Who did not see this coming? Master Chief Collection going gold. Like,
wait, you don't understand either.
What? I don't.
A game going gold means that it's in its final on-disc form.
Oh. Well, I'm an idiot.
Sing the educating song. Luke educating everyone.
Well, what's it
I like
called
that one better than mine. I like that one better.
Is there not a term for selling a certain amount of copies
Platinum.
in gaming?
It's not going gold. Going gold means it's on its final copy, ready to be pressed to disc. I feel so intelligent. It is very rarely I know something that Larry doesn't even just show like a portion of understanding of. So I'm very excited.
Can you see the struggle I'm having with the level of ignorance I've displayed?
Place a comment in the section. Can you comment on the below?
Well,
can they do that?
When you were like, did anyone believe this game didn't go gold? I'm like, I would really have a saddened experience if it never went gold because I'd never be able to play it.
There's got to be a word for this, though.
Like a game goes alpha, beta, gold. Why it doesn't go
silver or emerald or
gamma, delta, epsilon?
Do games go platinum? Is that depending on how many pre-orders they have?
Yeah, somebody look up the award system. You looking at that?
Yeah.
Are you looking it up to make sure I'm right? I'm almost positive.
I'm looking up to figure out what the word is for what I want to say.
When a game sells so many... Yeah, you be looking up that, and while I bring up this point, and did you read this point on the drive? It's going to come with a 20 gigabyte update that you have to download day one. Did you see that?
Yeah, that's pretty huge.
Yeah, but the reason for that is they are fitting 4 games onto a disc. They are fitting 5 games onto a disc if you count Halo 2 Anniversary as another game, because it essentially is with the upscaled graphics. And so they said we didn't want to cut corners, we didn't want to cut content to try to fit this on a 45 gigabyte Blu-ray disc, and so they're having to release a 20 gigabyte update. I think for those that preload the digital version of this game, which I've highly considered buying this game digital.
Yeah.
Because I don't see myself getting rid of it. I see myself going back to this a lot. I may change my mind. That way I can preload it. And with that being said, if you preload it, you can play it right at midnight. You don't have to wait till 3 like most other titles. And so that's really cool. Midnight Eastern Standard Time. By that time, the time will have changed.
Do they have like a... I feel kind of stupid for asking this question, but do they have a limited edition version of this game?
No, because so much because everything content-wise is already on it. All your maps, all the DLC, everything. So there's really nothing else to add to it. There is some speculation that Halo 2 will feature a mission that was not in the original.
The bridge?
I have no idea.
I hope so.
Do you know what I'm talking about?
Nope.
I do.
There was
Educate us. Larry educating us
to make up for my earlier ignorance.
I like that. Yeah, I like that.
One of the first trailers that came out for Halo 2 featured this mission where Master Chief was just fighting his way through this bridge, and he wound up surrounded by elites wielding swords, and he lights this plasma grenade. Cortana says, "I bet you can't stick it," and he's like, "You're on." And everyone was so excited to play this mission, and it never showed up in the game.
Is that what all the stories from the Halo 3 Believe campaign are about when they're talking about Master Chief showing up?
No. Because that's like in the middle of this open battlefield.
Oh, okay.
This is like...
on a bridge.
I was about to give you an example. You've never played a campaign, right? Mm-mm. So, never mind. I can't even explain to you.
It's okay.
I'm
okay with
the immensity of the greatness that you're gonna behold.
It's all speculation, though. There's no guarantee that this is going to contain an extra mission, but there's a screenshot where I think the original game had 15 missions, and there was a screen that showed it had 16 or 14 and 15, one or the other, something like that. So you can get a little excited, but there's no guarantee it's going to happen.
Well, they had a lot of things in their game, so I'm going to get real excited.
I just can't
Easter
wait.
eggs.
Oh, Easter eggs. Yeah. Okay, mention a couple things, and we'll ask our question, give our gamer tags, and we'll get out of here.
Did we mention the playlists were out?
Oh, go ahead.
Oh, yeah.
You want to do that for us? They announced the playlist for launch day.
Yeah.
Larry will cover this.
I don't...
Oh, I thought you had it pulled up.
No, I don't.
Luke will cover this. Okay.
Luke is going to cover it for us.
They are going to have what's called the Team Halo 2 anniversary. This is going to be Team Slayer and objective game types on the remastered maps. This will be 4v4. Halo 2 Anniversary Rumble. This is the 8-player free-for-all that's going to be featured on the remastered maps. Team Halo 2 Anniversary Social. This is going to be unranked Team Slayer and objective game types on the remastered maps 5v5. They're going to have Team Slayer that's going to be across all maps. So you can enter into these Halo 2 Anniversary ones, and you'll play only on the Halo 2 Anniversary revamped 6 maps that they've done. Team Slayer, you can get thrown into any of the over 100 multiplayer maps that they have on the disc and just... That's my mind blowing repeatedly.
That is what I am most excited for.
That's all I'm going to find myself in.
You're going to play Valhalla all the time, 44 Valhalla.
Oh my gosh! If we're voting on maps, that's all we're going to play. I want to play Valhalla. Oh no, I want to play. What did they rename it in the next
Blood
one?
Gulch.
Blood Gulch, Coagulation.
So many different names, but it's always going to be what. It better not be a voting process.
It is.
It's going to be.
They've already said that, have they not?
Crap.
He
But
just
that's
slammed
okay.
something on the table.
You won't always get stuck with Valhalla.
I know, but I just know that there's several maps that if they show up, we're going to be on it regardless.
You know what? I want to be Ascension every day. I want to play Ascension all the time.
That is a fun map.
Or Lockout.
And then, let's see, we have Big Team Battle. That's going to be, the 8v8, and that's across all maps. But then you can enter into every single one of the games on the discs, individual maps. So Halo Combat Evolved, you'll just be on those maps. Halo 2 Classic, which doesn't feature the remastered ones. Halo 3, Halo 4, and then they have Team Hardcore, which is the tournament-approved game types from Halo 2 and Halo 3, with the BR being your primary weapon. Halo Esports, that's an official Halo esports playlist. It's 4v4. And then SWAT, which is going to be featured across Halo 2, Halo 3, Halo 4, and Halo 2 Anniversary, and that's aim for the head,
I love SWAT.
You have no shield.
I'm getting the shivers. I'm like a junkie that hasn't had this in a while.
And I just want shoddy snipers, guys. I just want shoddy snipers. Is it too much to ask for shoddy snipers?
That one's going to rotate in. You know it is.
It has to.
I want Rocket Hog Race.
I just want Team Rockets, too. The best game, the only perfection I ever had was on Team Rockets. I feel like that's an accomplishment.
That should be an accomplishment. How did you have a perfection on Team Rockets?
It was awesome.
I averaged 30 perfections per Halo game.
No one likes you, Larry. All right. Are we done with Halo? I mean, we're not done with Halo. We're done
Flying a
talking about
log shot.
I have 2 questions
Okay.
about Halo.
Okay.
that I don't know anything.
And I will make up an answer to them.
Okay, cool. Will all of the armor from all the games be available? Do we know that yet?
I would love for that to be the case.
Because I really miss my CQB helmet.
Is that the one that has like the thing in the middle?
It's like a big round helmet with a big round visor, but then these things jutting out here to protect you from getting punched in the side of the head.
Oh, that I do remember that helmet. That helmet's awesome.
What Halo version was it where they started doing? They first did the different armor variations. Was it 3?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's my favorite Halo probably.
I loved it because there were just some of the armor pieces that, for me, being the not so great player that I am, were just unattainable. And so it was really cool to see people who had them and know, like, they worked really hard for that. It's not just get to this level and you automatically get this. Like, you have to do specific things to get specific pieces of armor.
Yeah, that was cool.
I would imagine they'd bring that back. I mean, it was part maybe not. It's a Halo 2 edition, and so. But they've talked like everything that you experienced in these games is going to be on this disc, and so
It's gonna be hard to do that because there's a big jump between 3 and 4. Like they're different, but I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how it works.
Oh, and I've opened up to the wrong page. Okay, we done with talk? Oh no, you had a second question.
Yeah, I forgot it. So,
Make one up.
is the aliens going to shoot you and stuff?
They haven't announced yet. Okay, 2 last little quick hitter items here. Plants vs. Zombie is now available in the EA Access Vault for Xbox One users. I haven't downloaded. No, I think I have downloaded it, but I haven't had a chance to play it. Everybody I read talk about this game. It was surprisingly really enjoyable.
I like killing zombies in any format.
It looks
so
super fun to me. Like it just looks like a fun game. All the streams I've seen. So
Yeah, I'll give it a shot, and I'll have something to say about it maybe in the next couple weeks.
he'll do a 10,000 word write up on it.
I'm not going to do it right up on a year-old game.
10 billion words.
Okay, and then lastly, this is only mildly gaming related, but HBO has announced that it will be bringing a standalone service in 2015, which also comes with an announcement, hopefully, of a HBO Go app for both PlayStation 4 and Xbox One. This is huge news as kind of a middle finger to the cable companies.
Yeah,
And
big time.
really, it's probably the only channel that could do that to the cable companies.
Well, Showtime has some shows that people religiously watch that I think if they stepped away and did a standalone. But yeah, I think those two, as far as premium channels that you pay for, are the only ones that can do it, and it make a big difference because there are a lot of people who only hold on to cable for Game of Thrones, True Detective. I think, True Blood, is that still going? I think True Blood has one more season. Those sorts of shows. And so to bring that...
True Blood's not HBO, though, is it?
Yeah, True Blood's HBO.
Seriously? Mm-hmm. Oh, I'm thinking about Vampire Diaries. My wife's mom watches that.
Isn't that the CW?
Yeah. My wife's mom watches that, and I was like, they definitely don't have HBO.
His wife's mom. Right.
Yeah. You got that DVR, you're going to go home and
I know
watch
they're
that?
Vampires, and they write diaries and things.
But not in the daylight. I'm excited about that for not reasons for myself because I'm too big a sports fan to get rid of DirecTV, but just for the simple fact that it's going to put some heat on Comcast and DirecTV and stuff like that to better their packages to attract people because they're no longer going to be able to say, hey, this is the only way you can get HBO. And rather than stealing people's email and passwords like most people do.
Yeah.
All right, that wraps up the news for the week. So I'm going to ask a very quick, because we're coming up on an hour and 15 minutes. Random question of the week.
Random question of the week.
All right.
I don't remember the jingle. I think that's different than normal.
This, I don't know if we haven't had a set name, so there's probably no set jingle. This is a very simple, maybe not a simple question, but we're about to enter into the holiday season. November is just around the corner, and that means that people will be buying gifts for one another. Us being gamers for our entire lives means we have probably received a gift or two that has resulted in a game. So I want you to think back over the Rolodex of your memory and give me the coolest way that you were given a gaming-related gift.
All right. When I was 3 or 4, it was shortly after my parents' divorce, and so my dad and I were living with my grandma. And I woke up on Christmas morning to find this huge package that Santa had delivered, which
he's not real.
I know now.
What?
They were pulling the wool over.
Wait, what?
You didn't know?
Oh gosh, we're sorry, Ben.
Wait, Santa's not real?
No.
And today was the day the Christmas spirit died.
You guys better start believing you're not going to get anything. Just saying.
Side point, the real St. Nicholas was an awesome guy who rescued girls who had been forced into working in brothels and punched a heretic in the face at a church council. So
nice.
Go St. Nick.
Nice.
Anyway.
I once punched a girl at a church camp. So
if you're under 10 years of age...
Is that the same thing?
If you're under 10 years of age, can you put a timestamp here so we can...
Spoiler alert.
Not scar.
Spoiler alert. Santa ain't real. We're not putting that spoiler alert in because they had the wool pulled over their eyes.
Anyway, woke up, huge package, and it was a Super Nintendo Entertainment System.
A SNES.
A SNES.
SNES.
With Super Mario World. Brothers.
Gosh, the only
Super
game
Mario
that's
World?
valid on that game.
I was about to say Super
Mario
Mario
World. What? Which one is it?
Super Mario World.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
It is Super Mario World.
Super Mario World Kart Brothers.
And I love that game so much. It has I have a lot of fond memories with it, and every time I'd hit 99% completion, it would, for some reason, get deleted. But I finally 100%ed it in my junior year of college, so...
Nice.
It was a long journey, but I got it.
All right, Ben?
It's not really like an interesting way I got it, but it was like my awesomest video gaming gift that I ever received. Does that have a valid answer to this question?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
I mean, dude, you're talking. The mic's picking it up, so you're good.
Sure, whatever. I think I was... I don't know what age I was really. It's when the Game Boy Color first came out, the original one, like the rectangular one, like the
one that
thing that was the size of my phone.
Oh yeah,
now.
yeah.
And actually, it was a lot thicker than my phone is now. But anyways, I got the translucent purple Game Boy Color. Yeah, real awesome. I was like the stuff having that thing. But not only did I get that, but I got Pokemon Red version and. That was the beginning of my Pokemon journey through Nintendo. So that was a very, very awesome. That was actually also my very first game console ever, if you count a handheld as the game console.
What was it? Was the SNES your first?
Yes.
The Sega Genesis was my first.
I had an NES, so that was my very... That was my... I got it after I got my Game Boy Color, though. So
that was like your first TV console?
Yeah.
Okay. My best gift, I spent months and months begging my parents
I know the story.
for an N64. I was so excited about getting an N64 for Christmas, and it was when they released the translucent colored N64s, and so I got the orange one, and I was like, I want the orange one, and I want the matching orange controller, and it is going to be awesome. And at the time, I knew that we were going through some like financial problems, some financial hardship, and I wasn't really positive if I was going to get it or not. Spoiler alert, I do. But we came down on Christmas morning, and Christmas morning at my house is like an event because I got 4 siblings, and it's like our Christmas tree just barfed up presents everywhere. They just cover the whole floor. And so we came down, started opening up gifts, and I got to this package, opened it up. Turns out it was the orange controller, and I'm freaking out. I'm like, oh my gosh, I got the N64! I'm so excited! And my mom just had this like super sad look on her face, and I'm like, what? She's like, Luke, we promise we will get you the N64 when we can afford it, but we got you this controller to kind of give you like some reassurance that it is coming. And I'm like, that's the total opposite. I opened this controller and I was so excited I was going to get to play this, and now I have a controller I can't use. I didn't say any of that out loud because I'd have been popped across the mouth. But in my head, I believe. And we got to the end, and I kind of went, and I could tell I knew they could tell I was bummed, and so we got through to the end, and I was just kind of depressed. And then my dad's like, "What's that?" And he pulls this box out from behind the gun cabinet. And what do you know? It is the translucent orange N64 with Madden 2000 and something in it. And I was so freaking excited to run over people with Eddie George. And I did all day long. It was great. It was great. So that was my favorite. And that wraps up the Player 3 podcast for the week, ladies and gentlemen. Let's go around. Let's do our names and our social media and what games we're going to be playing this week.
Our social security numbers? Or?
Yes, our social security numbers.
It's Notra Hankins. I'm Ben. This is Notra Hankins, Norta.
No, Notra. You do that.
Norta.
Notra.
Notra Hankins.
I'm dyslexic.
On Twitter.
D stands for dyslexic.
You can follow me at Twitch at WhoBombTrady. That's WHOBOMTRADY. Or you can send me a request on PSN. I'll probably talk to you before I add you, just because I want to make sure you're not a creeper. But yeah, you can do that. And you can find me on Google Plus at, is it just plus my name? Is that how you?
If you don't know, you can't tell them. All right.
Plus Benjamin Hankins.
No. If you haven't registered that URL, you do not possess it.
How do I register that?
They invited me to do it, so I don't know.
You can find me on
you
Google
and Google
Plus.
aren't besties like me.
I mean, I don't use that rarely. I'm trying to get better about using social media, so yeah, you can try to find me on those things. I mean, maybe I don't know.
I'm on Google plus Larry Hunt. And Larry Hunt's Zombies on Twitter and Twitch, even though I've only streamed once. But I'll try to do it this week.
If you wouldn't have left your laptop 45 minutes away, I could have helped you set that up. I had to remind him.
And don't add me on Xbox Live, because if I don't know you, I won't accept it. I'm sorry.
It's okay. It's all right.
I'm afraid of being abducted.
What are you playing this week, Ben?
Oh, I didn't tell you. I'm playing Destiny. I'm playing Minecraft, and I'm playing 2K, and I've got to play Madden, I guess, because we advanced the thing. So you'll have a game of Madden on the way as well this week on Twitch. So
I'll be playing Destiny, and I really have an itch for some Titanfall, so I'm going to try to work that in. I'll be playing lots of games come Friday and Saturday. So.
Yeah, you're streaming. Are you going to do like a schedule of games you're playing, or are you just going to do what you're doing?
I'll put a schedule up, because I'm also going to need some breaks in there to eat.
Yeah,
probably.
Poop probably.
Yeah, do some aerobic exercise. Oh, maybe I'll stay fit by streaming me doing Xbox Live fitness stuff. That'll be fun.
Did we set those things
Shirtless.
Shirtless. I can take my shirt off faster than anybody.
He can.
He's not even lying.
We'll show you.
I might stream that.
No, we won't. Will you? No. Ladies and gentlemen, tune in to Bar Hunt Zombies, taking his shirt off faster than you can.
Yep.
You done?
We should make a competition for that. Like, if he can take his shirt off faster than you, or you can take your shirt off faster than him, you wins, acknowledgement that you can do that.
Can I take my shirt off faster than a cheetah takes down a gazelle, kind of thing?
Yeah, you can.
Probably.
You could.
Where do we buy a cheetah? I can get us a gazelle easily. Okay, I'm Luke, and you can find me on Twitter at TK from Antioch. You can follow me on Twitch and on PSN at Lodger Blackman. You can find me on Xbox Live as Download a Hoagie. And I think that's all the social media I'm going to give you from me. The important stuff, though, find us on Twitter at Player3 Podcast. You can search for us on Facebook, Player3 Podcast. We are on iTunes, Stitcher, Blueberry, Podbean, all those sorts of podcast services. We will be launching a website here in a few weeks I'm really excited about. Any questions that we would love to start doing a user submitted questions section. And so you can email us at player3podcast@gmail.com, and we'll try to work those in, try to be creative, try to be funny, try to be loving, try to be cute like we are.
Always.
Ladies and gentlemen, this has been episode 6 of the Player 3 Podcast. Thank you so much for tuning in.
Player 3 Podcast!
P3P.